We're jumping back in time. No, not on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in Epcot, but at Disney's Pop Century Resort. And this video is going to be filled with nostalgia, color, and a little bit of Disney trivia. Hi, I'm Christina, and here at Ever After Family Vacations, we want to help you plan the most magical family vacation stress-free. And today we are taking a tour of Disney's Pop Century Resort, voted as the favorite value resort here at Disney World. I'll tell you why in just a minute. Disney's Pop Century is broken up into 5 sections, each section representing a different decade from the 1950s through the 1990s. So we'll not only be walking through every section, but to make it a little bit more fun, I'm going to share with you some Disney-inspired trivia for each of the decades. So we're going to have some fun while we're touring. And let me know which trivia most surprises you in the comments, and then you just might get a shout out on my next resort tour. All right? And stick around to the end of the video because I'll be sharing with you the pros and cons of staying here at Disney's Pop Century so that you can decide if this is the right choice for your family. So subscribe to this channel for more family vacation tips. Hop in that DeLorean, turn time circuits on, and let's jump back in time. So Pop Century is meant to be like a time capsule where every decade section has things from that era, whether it's words or nostalgia memorabilia or giant Disney movie icons. And the lobby is located in the 60s section. And the farthest from the lobby is the 90s and 80s sections. So, and there are 3 pools. There's the one pool in the 50s, shaped like a bowling pin. There's one in the 60s section, which is probably the biggest, and is shaped like a flower. And also that one's the most popular. And then there's the one in the 80s and 90s section, which is shaped like a square. Maybe it's a boombox or Walkman or I don't know. We'll find out when we go there to explore. We're gonna start farthest back in time in the 50s. Now, normally when I film a resort tour, I begin in the lobby because that's usually where you start as you check in. But today we are starting and farthest back in time as we can get, the 1950s. And in every section, there's gonna be some nostalgia. On the railings, there are icons of the decade itself that might take you back in time, and some other pop icons, hence the name of the resort, Pop Century. So you have the sock hop, nice wheels, real hip. In the 1950s section, the pool is shaped like a bowling pin. This is one of the quiet pools here in the 1950s section. Looks like you have a old-fashioned 1950s jukebox. Near the pool is your shoe rental, which could also be laundry and restrooms. Okay, let's start with some Disney trivia. Which princess movie came out in the year 1950? Can you guess? She likes to lose her shoes a lot. Well, one anyways. That's right, it was Cinderella. And another movie that came out in 1950s, actually in 1955, is the movie that made spaghetti the most romantic meal ever. Lady and the Tramp. Oh, look at beautiful lady right there. And her doghouse. And just across the way, still near the pool, is Tramp. Look, there's even bowling balls next to the bowling pin pool. There's also records on the railings and radios. Look at him, so happy. And Pop Century does have elevators. So good to know for strollers and wheelchair needs. Here's another Disney trivia for you. What famous Disney thing opened in 1955? Specifically, July 17th, 1955. Can you guess? I'm wearing this shirt. Disneyland! Walt Disney opened Disneyland on July 17th, 1955. And the opening day was kind of a disaster. They had no drinking fountains, and the cement was still wet, so women's heels were sinking into the concrete. but despite such a rough beginning, it has become the happiest place on earth for so many people, myself included. Also, when Disneyland opened, it only had 5 lands. Can you guess which ones? Main Street USA, Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. Those were the opening lands of 1955. And there's even a model of it inside the Walt Disney Presents in Disney's Hollywood Studios. All right, and that was the 50s section. Next, we're jumping forward in time to the 1960s, which is the main section of Pop Century Resort. Oh, look, a giant yo-yo. And since I'm now in the 1960s, I should probably change my ears. I'll give you a hint of the ears I'm doing next. Which Disneyland attraction opened in the 1960s and was one of the last rides Walt Disney himself personally worked on? Can you guess? Yep, it was Pirates of the Caribbean, which opened in 1967, and it is still my favorite attraction of all time. Located at Disneyland. They do have one in Florida, but I'm sorry, it's not as good. Now, this resort is voted as a favorite because it has easy access to the Skyliner, which is the fastest mode of transportation here at Disney World. Also, the rooms have recently been refurbished, so they all look brand new. And this resort is a lot less expensive than its sister resort, Art of Animation. Okay, here by the pool, we have flower-covered restrooms and laundry. Oh, ping pong table. That's fun. I think we can find a playground too. But yes, this is the hippy dippy pool shaped like a flower. People on the railings are having fun. All about peace and flowers. Can you dig it? I don't want to film too much of the pool, like I want to film people swimming, but this is actually going to be the loudest section as well. So if anyone in your family has trouble sleeping or takes naps during the day, this is probably not the area you want to be in, although it is closest to the lobby, which is right there, and we'll circle back over there. Another famous Disneyland attraction debuted at the 1964-1965 World's Fair. And it's one of those rides with a song in it, can get stuck in your head. And it was written by the Sherman Brothers. Can you guess which attraction? Yep, it's a Small World. Small World after all. I think Play-Doh debuted in the 1960s as well. My elephants and giraffes have never looked so good. Speaking of the Sherman Brothers, they also wrote the music for another famous film that came out in the 1960s, actually 1964, that combined live action with animation. Can you guess which movie? If you guess a nanny that flies on an umbrella, you guessed correctly. It's Mary Poppins. I love the movie in Saving Mr. Banks. It tells the history of what happened in making the movie. Oh, so good. Okay, so here's the flower pool. And actually right across the way here, which is kind of hard to get to. I guess you exit through there and then you walk over here. But there's a little splash kiddie pool for your little ones. That's cool. Great for parents. I see parents sitting there too, just cooling off. Okay, one more Disney trivia for the 60s. Can you name a Disney animated movie that came out that time featuring a boy that was raised by wolves and a very jazzy bear? Jungle Book! Ooh. I don't know if you can hear it, but they're playing 60s dance music. It's pretty fun. So each section is going to have different music that goes along with the decade. Time capsule. So the Skyliner station is just past this kiddie pool over there. Super close. Pool, lobby. So if you're looking to stay in the preferred section, I think this would be it. But again, it's going to be your louder section because of the pool, and this is where they do some of the activities, like which we're going to look at in just a little bit when we go explore the lobby. Yeah, they're having fun. I like the tables and chairs outside of the pool too, with little umbrellas. That's nice. It's a hot day. Okay, also next to the pool is what's called Pedals Pool Bar. Let's go take a look at the menu. So they really make it clear where things are. 50s and 60s over there to the left of the lobby, or if you're facing out, if you just leave the lobby and facing the pool, it's to the right. Then you have 70s, 80s, and 90s that direction. Okay, so these are the activities here at this resort. Similar to the other value resorts, except with a decade theme. Ooh, seasonal craft. That looks fun. 90s. Oh, okay. Yeah, movies under the stars. That's typical at every resort. Groovy campfire. I'm guessing that means it's over here. Oh, Surfer Goofy. Where's Surfer Goofy? Okay, we're gonna find that. Okay, it's called Classic Hall, which actually is what this resort was going to be called. You have restrooms inside, fast forward arcade, which is your typical Disney arcade, complete with massage chairs, because this is such a relaxing environment to get a massage after a long day in the parks. In front of Pop Century, I love how all the numbers representing each decade are in the font of that decade. Like the 60s look very hippy dippy. Okay, here are the doors where you would enter Pop Century, and then this is the lobby. Wow, so pretty. Oh, it's character experiences from 11:20 to 12:20, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, good to know. I missed that today, but that's okay. Oh, there's a kid zone right next to the doors where there's seating, cute drawings, and Turning Red's playing. Okay. Oh, a bunch of fun memorabilia drawn on the walls. That's cool. And a cat. Oh, look, the TV's plugged in. And then you got a time capsule wall with things in them from each decade. I can't go into all of them because otherwise this would be a very long video. But if you see anything that you remember from this decade, shout out in the comments. Poodle skirt. Beach Boys. Oh yeah, lots of color here. Mary Poppins. Needles. Disco, so we are fleeing the 70s. There's a famous movie we'll get to later. No, not Rocky Horror. And there's a famous park that we'll get to later. We are in the 80s now. Oh, Muppets. Oh, I remember that game. My Little Ponies, I totally had those. Oh, the pop music of the 80s. Tina Turner, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Elton John, Sting. 80s technology. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Spice Girls. And a Walkman that I'm pretty sure I used to have. NSYNC. Oh yeah, this is definitely the 90s. Still 90s. Got Home Improvement and Buffy. X-Files. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. I love that they have things other than Disney here. Where's Waldo? Furby, Power Rangers. Oh my gosh, Pocahontas, Barbie. This is awesome. Disney animation. Oh, we'll get to that trivia later on. I don't know what this is reference to, but that's cool. And then 90s technology. Okay, next let's go look at everything Pop, which is your merchandise store, and it goes straight into the food court. The food court is actually the only food option you have here at Pop Century, but you do have access to the Skyliner, so just a quick Skyliner ride over to the Riviera Resort, which has amazing food, or Caribbean Beach Resort, which also has great food. Okay, let's check out the Pop Century merch. Have a nice day. Let's see what's on the front. Pop Century, two-tone spirit jersey, ears, tumbler cup, mall kid shirts, Goofy, Mickey. I don't think these are specific to Pop Century, but they're adorable. Long sleeve shirt, pin, magnet, ornament. We'll get to the larger version a little bit later. And here's another tumbler. Multicolor. That's a very bright. You will not miss that. Everything else is pretty typical merch for any Disney store at a resort. You have your souvenirs, clothes, shirts, mugs, toys. Toys are always good. Here's a Skyliner merch. You have, they have a Pirates of the Caribbean Skyliner gondola. Oh my gosh, that comes in mugs too. There's a t-shirt. That, I kind of like that shirt. It's good. And a kid shirt. Ooh, this must be the new summer collection. That shirt looks great for the pool. I think that's what it is. Cooler bag. Fun Mickey-shaped plates. These cups are adorable. Oh my gosh. Really makes you think of vacation while you're at home. Here are the Magic Band Pluses, which you don't technically need for your vacation, but they make it more magical, to be honest. I'm looking for one for me, but I want it to be Disney World exclusive, and I don't see it, so let's move on. You also have your refillable mugs here, which you can get any resort as part of the Disney dining plan, or you can pay a la carte for $22.99. And it's only refillable at your resort, not in the parks. You can get cooling cloths, which are super handy. Sunscreen, groceries, grab and go groceries, donuts for breakfast, wine, water, other drinks, anything you may have forgotten. When we go to a Disney resort, we like to get bread, peanut butter, and jelly so that we can make sandwiches and bring them into the parks to save money on meals that my kids aren't going to like. So hopefully that's a helpful tip for you. And then anything you might need or forgotten or whatever else. Is that my voice? Is that my voice? Oh wow. I love Yzma. Now Pop Century only has one bus stop, and it is located just outside here of the lobby and store. And just like that, we are in the food court area. I love how the windows have Mickey ears. But yeah, this has also been refurbished, so everything looks pretty new and, well, pretty colorful. Looks like you have the dessert section, cafe. Oh, and for mobile order pickup is right over there. Okay, let's see what kind of food options they get. I think it's pretty standard for compared to all the other value resorts. You have burgers, chicken, sweet corn fries. Those were okay. Refillable mugs. Then you have your grab and go section. Drinks, snacks, grab and go sandwiches, treats, Oh, you can get a cake. No, sorry, cupcakes. Not a whole cake. Here, anyways. Pastries. Ice cream. Here you have pasta and pizza. You can mobile order, but not everything will be on the mobile order menu. So if you want to have all the options, you'll need to come in person. And here is a more healthy option, like the shrimp is not on the mobile order menu. Oh, you can check, oh, I see. Create your own entree. Chicken, salmon, or shrimp, plus a side, or 2 sides. That's cool. Grab and go items, including Pop-Tarts, the breakfast of champions. Okay, you got coffee and tea on one side, fountain drinks on the other, coffee and tea, and then, yeah, there's 3 drink stations. Next, 70s. And since we're jumping forward in time into the 70s decade, I need to change my ears. So here's a trivia question to guess which ears I'm going to do next. Which Disney park opened in the 1970s? Specifically, October 1st, 1971. Can you guess? Disney World. And I actually just bought these, so the tag is still attached, but it's all right. But yeah, Disney World opened in 1971 on October 1st. So let's head on into the 70s. So here is the lobby, and there is the Hippy Dippy pool. And then just to the left is the 70s section. Oh, and I found where the marshmallow roasting area is. Here's the fire pit next to, yep, Surfer Goofy. And a car. Oh, and I see a sign. It says playgrounds, plural. But it is blocked off. Let me see if I can find a different way. Okay, they're playing Mary Poppins music here. I guess they play music wherever it is. It's a mood ring. I didn't know mood rings came out in the 70s. What's your handle? Wow, that was famous in the 70s before it became a, internet thing. Platform shoes. All right, here is some larger than life theming coming up. Foosball table. What? I don't think you can play though, because they're huge. Classic 70s. Big wheel, yeah. Who remembers riding those? Probably not, but I'm sure you have pictures of it, of yourself riding them. And then there's the mouse himself as a phone. That's why you saw pins in the lobby gift shop. He's big. Much more comfortable in the shade. We got the foosball ball and these big guys, red and blue. Which team are you? And this isn't a very big section. This isn't a very big resort. We're almost to the end. Okay, and here's some trivia. So what was the first roller coaster to open at Disney World? Give you a hint? It was 1975 when it opened. It was Space Mountain. So the one in Disneyland came after the one in Disney World. But yeah, it opened in 1975. Here's another 1970s trivia. Which movie came out in the 70s, 1977, that was the highest grossing movie of the decade? And it became one of the most famous movie franchises ever. Disney didn't own it then, but yeah, it was Star Wars. Oh my gosh, you can play Twister? Oh, how fun! You can sit when you get out, and one person can spin while the others play. That's awesome. Okay, I'm a little lost. I was going that way, and I think I still need to go that way, but I'm looking for the playground, so I'm gonna do that. And while I do that, Here's another trivia question for you. In 1973, a Disney animated movie came out, which would later inspire the animals in Disney's Zootopia. Can you guess which movie? It's underrated, I think, because it's such a good movie. But it was Robin Hood. Yeah, the animal characters inspired how the animals move in Zootopia. So, kind of more human-like than animal-like. Okay, so right there is unavailable. Okay, so here is the playground for ages 5 to 12. Open from dawn to dusk. Yeah, it's a pretty standard playground. Nothing fun theming or anything like that. But with all these trees above it, it is in the shade. So that gets points right there. Lots of wall seating. So I'm still in the 70s section. And over there is going to be the 80s and 90s section. So that's where the playground is. And the lobby building is, well, right there. But I couldn't go that way because it's blocked off. All right, let's head on over to the 80s and 90s. Rubik's Cube as a staircase. And the bus stop is actually right there. So it's, I guess, there's a way to get there from the 80s and 90s rather than going through the lobby. So that's neat. And since I'm jumping forward into the 80s, I have to change my ears. So here's another trivia question for you. Which princess movie came out in the 1980s? Can you guess? Yep, it was The Little Mermaid. Okay, it looks like I'm at the back side of the 80s section, but there is Pac-Man, Bodacious. Lots of Pac-Man references. Squirrel. Yeah, it's kind of weird to get to this section. Like, it's not straight through the 70s section like Art of Animation. You have to go through the Lion King section to get to the Little Mermaid section. So I went kind of the back way. And in the 90s or 80s section, sorry, not 90s quite yet, but 80s section is Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Okay, 70s section, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, and then we go into the 80s and 90s. So you got both here. The 80s are in the pink buildings, and the 90s are in the blue colored buildings. And there's a pool. And here's a trivia question for you. Which Disney World park opened up in 1982? It was Epcot. And can you guess what Epcot stands for? If you do, leave a comment. Yes, I'm still going to tell you though. Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. Okay, let's see what the icons are for this section. Okay, I'm not really sure what oh, it's a computer. The pool is the computer. The pool is the monitor section. And you can see here is the keyboard. Oh, and there's a Walkman. See, I didn't have one like that, but that definitely reminds me of Ferngully. Then over here you have famous Roger Rabbit. Who framed him? Guess you'll have to watch the movie. Which is very adult, a lot more adult oriented than I remember as a kid. But that's a lot, that's the 80s for you, right? Yeah, it's a very square pool. A quiet pool is called. That's shaped like a computer monitor. And look, you even have the floppy disk. I don't know what that building's for, because right there, the restrooms are the laundry. I don't know what the floppy disk is, but I can see the 90s section with a giant computer over there. Okay, here's another 80s trivia for you. What ride at Disneyland opened in the 80s? starring a very famous DJ who's currently at Oga's Cantina in Star Wars and Galaxy's Edge. Star Tours opened up in 1987. And at Oga's Cantina, when everything kind of shuts down, Rex restarts himself and even says light speed to Endor, which was a line he said every ride in Star Tours. Do you remember going on the original Star Tours? I do. In the 90s, that was so fun. Especially the ice or the comet, right? It was frozen and scary, but it's fun. You know, after touring all of Pop Century now, I gotta say, it's a bit underwhelming compared to Art of Animation. So yeah, this is a favorite, but as far as activities and theming goes, it's not awesome. The idea is fine, but it just, I don't know. Since this is a value resort, all the rooms are going to be motel style, which means the doors will be located on the outside of the building. So you have to walk in the weather to access your room, which is true for a lot of Disney resorts, even the deluxe ones. Now we're going to head to the 90s section where the internet was born. Okay, so I got some trivia for the 90s. This one surprised me. So the 1990s is known as Disney's Renaissance decade, where they came out with a bunch of animated movies that were a huge hit. And I knew that, but I didn't realize how many animated movies Disney actually produced. Can you guess how many? 12. Yeah, 12 animated movies that came out in the 1990s. Now, can you name them all? I couldn't. I can now. Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Nightmare Before Christmas, yes, still counts, The Lion King, Pocahontas, A Goofy Movie, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mulan, Fantasia 2000, and Tarzan. No, I didn't have that all memorized. I had to look at my notes while I was filming, so. And can you guess which of those animated films was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards? Beauty and the Beast. Now that list does not include any Pixar films or live action films, but do you know which Pixar film came out in 1995 that launched into a huge success? Yep, it was Toy Story. Wow, look at that giant laptop. Definitely from the 90s. Email, I love all the Mickey wallpaper. That's awesome. Can I have that? CDs. And you notice how it says Disney's Animal Kingdom opens today? Well, that has to do with our next trivia question. Yes, Disney's Animal Kingdom, Disney World's 4th park, opened April 22nd, 1998. I'm looking at the sign there. Now this park has Africa, Asia, the Tree of Life. But do you know which land the Imagineers planned out, but it was never built? Do you remember what it is called? And actually Pandora, World of Avatar, replaced it. But you can still see evidence of this land on top of the ticket booths, in the parking lot, even on the logo of Disney's Animal Kingdom. Can you guess what it was called? It was called Beastly Kingdom, which would have fantasy creatures such as dragons and unicorns. And I don't know what else, but there's a unicorn section in the parking lot, and there's a dragon on top of the ticket booth and in the logo, which is awesome. I wish they made that. That would have been really cool to see. So this is the 90s section. And if you come this way, one, it's shaded, so that's nice. Lots of trees here, so it's good for shade. But it takes you through next to the parking lot, which isn't, the best themed view. But you walk next to the other sections as you make your way to the bus stop over there. So that's good to know, that you don't have to walk through the other sections in order to get to the bus. This does feel a little smaller than Art of Animation. Fun fact, Art of Animation is a sister resort because that was originally going to be a part of Pop Century as the vintage years, and they actually built a whole section, and then 9/11 happened and changed the economy and all the things, so that building across the lake sat unfinished for years until Disney eventually decided to turn it into what we now know as Art of Animation. And that building is still there. It's the Little Mermaid rooms. And you can tell they match the motel style as this resort, but they built the other 3 sections, Lion King, Nemo, and Cars, to be family suites. So the Little Mermaid rooms are just regular standard hotel rooms like you would find here at Pop Century. And then the other sections at Art of Animation are family suites, which are actually above the moderate price level. So they're like over $500 a night. So they're pricey, but they come with 1 bedroom, a fold-out dining table to a bed, fold-out couch, 2 bathrooms. So they're really nice. And they're themed to the sections that they're in, so that's cool. And all the rooms here at Pop Century are themed the same. So they're not themed to the decade they're in, they're just themed to generic Disney, Mickey decorations. But like I said, they're refurbished, so they feel new. So yeah, there's the playground. If you walk this way, okay, so there's the 90 section, which actually was not a long walk. And you come right over here into the bus section. Okay, this was a like 4-minute walk from the 90s and 80s section over to the bus stop. And the buses will take you to Disney Springs, water parks, Animal Kingdom, and Magic Kingdom. Skyliner will take you to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. Yeah, so most of the time you're gonna have to use a Skyliner to get to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. They do have an Epcot bus stop here and a Hollywood Studios bus stop, but I don't think it's ever, I don't know how often it's used. If you're taking a bus, I recommend about, give yourself an hour to an hour and a half commute time. I know that seems a lot. You don't realize that Disney World is that big, but yeah, it is. And you might be waiting a while for the bus because they're unpredictable, especially if they're full, which happens a lot in the mornings. It's fun that most of the Skyliner gondolas have fun characters. I don't know which one I'm in. Yeah, oh, I'm in the Mickey one because there's Goofy right there. Yeah, Pop Century, there we are.
Welcome aboard the Disney Skyliner at Disney's Pop Century Resort and Disney's Art of Animation Resort. We are on our way to Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort with connecting flights to Disney's Hollywood Studios and Epcot International Gateway.
So that was our tour of Pop Century. Now, what are the pros and cons? Well, let's start with the cons. One, there's only one food option. Yes, it has very kid-friendly food, which is great, but there's only one option. However, you have access to the Skyliner. So like I said earlier, it's just a quick Skyliner ride away to Riviera and Caribbean Beach, which have excellent food options. Another con is that there is no hot tub in the pool areas, and that's true for all the value resorts. Another thing is that because this is a value resort, it can get loud and noisy, so just keep that in mind. If you're looking for more of a quiet environment, this is probably not the best choice. Another con, especially if you have a bigger family, is that these rooms only sleep 4 people max. So that may not be the best option if you have like 5 family members like we do in our family. But I will say, if you have a child under the age of 3 that sleeps in a pack and play, they don't count. So they will fit, but it will be these rooms can be kind of cramped because they are smaller than other resorts here at Disney. So if you're looking for just a place to sleep, these are good options. Okay, now let's talk pros. One of the pros is that, as I've said earlier in this video, this resort was recently refurbished, so all the rooms will feel clean and new. Some of them have the full-size bed and then a second full-size bed, but it's a Murphy bed that folds out into a desk. So get what I'm saying? So that will allow more room when you're not sleeping, but it can feel pretty cramped when you're not. So again, pros and cons. Another pro is that the theming is very colorful for kids. There is a touch of Disney throughout, but the theming seemed more over the top at All Stars and Art of Animation, especially Art of Animation. That's the most Disney resort you're gonna find here at Walt Disney World. Another pro is that you have easy access to the Skyliner, and that right there is gold. You can get to Epcot and Hollywood Studios very easily for it'll only take you about 10 minutes, unless there's a line. It'll take a little bit longer in the morning, so don't anticipate 10 minutes in the mornings when everyone else is trying to get to the parks. I would allow about a half an hour, even though it probably won't take you that long. And strollers can go on the Skyliner, which is awesome, except the double wide strollers. Those need to be folded. So we have a tandem style double stroller, which is perfect because you can just glide it right on the Skyliner gondola. And the Skyliner is like the best form of transportation here at Disney, I think, especially for kids. It's like a ride. Also with the theming, it is pretty fun. You got the fun music, you got the fun nostalgia, and that's pretty awesome. Fun, a lot of good photo ops too. Probably the best pro of this resort is that it is budget friendly. It is one of the cheapest resorts here at Disney World. It's a level above All Stars, but not as expensive as Art of Animation, which is the sister resort. And if you want to see a walkthrough tour of that resort, click the video right here. Just kids yelling at a squirrel. It can get loud here. Anyways, if you felt this video was helpful, please hit that like button. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more family vacation tips. And if you have any questions about this resort or any resort or anything about Disney World vacation planning, comment below and I'll be happy to try to help you. And again, comment with your favorite Disney trivia that you learned during this video, or the one that surprised you the most. Mine is that Disney came out with 12 animated movies in the 1990s. Wow, one every year and then some. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a magical day and a very happily ever after. Bye.